Hello. Hello.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Alrighty. Bam. Hopefully I'm staring straight at the thingamajiggy. I don't know if I'm staring straight at the thingamajiggy. Yes, I am. Cool. I had to like move my because normally I keep the OBS on the left side here because this is basically like me looking at chat when I'm in the game screen and such like that. But and then like over on the right is like when there's like, you know, either social media notifications or if I needed to double check some things. But yeah, hi everyone. Welcome to Happy Monday. I know well, for me it's Monday. Is it Monday for other people? Yes, I think it's Monday for other people now. So I hope everyone is doing okay. Renea, Zach, you got here first. Nice work. Good to see. And we now get into the big deal. There we go. You really should sleep, but yay, anxiety. Anxiety! Probably not that great. Hello there. So yeah, hopefully you're doing okay. So I have not been having the best of sleep in the last few days, annoyingly enough. But tomorrow I should hopefully be able to... I'm joining in with my sister to go to like Sealy's and check out some of their beds. So hopefully... Ooh, there's boobies. No, never mind, they're gone. So hopefully when I go to Sealy's tomorrow, there's going to be a bed that I like, that I'm going to feel comfortable and supported in, and I get to sleep in that in the future rather than continuing to sleep in my current bed, which is very much making me sore. And there's like a problem on my right side now where it's like I can't even like, you know, just sort of some movements. It's like I don't know how to repeat the movements, so then that way I can like try and stretch it out. But it's like it's either something to do with my arm or it's like something in my like my hips. I don't know, but it's difficult. So all right, we've seen enough of the intro. Let us get into the game. You can just sleep in my bed. No, I need my own bed. Thank you very much. I need my own bed. Also, I need to pause the music from iTunes. Bam, there we go. Alrighty, so we need to go this way. Actually, how are you doing on Okay, yeah, we're full health. We're fine. And we're not getting any... So, let's see. Hello? I wonder what pocket tissues are for in this game. I don't have, like, the fullest idea as to why. Can I interrupt you? No. Goon! There we go. Nice. Yeah! Untouchable. I just want to do violence. It's that simple. You're in a game pre-15... Also, you're in a game pre-15 minutes? Yes, I don't have that much to talk about, and I am so socially drained after we got a new person at work today. Yesterday, there was the Fortnite tournament that went on for like 5 hours, where during the downtime, I had to like, you know, try and interact with chat and keep things interesting. And then Saturday morning was also the charity stream. Thank you everyone who came to that. We raised, I think, $200 between the Twitch donation thing and the donor drive. It was a bit messy, but the people from not Stack Overflow. Once again, I am unable to say a like stack up organization. I keep going Stack Overflow, but that is not the same company. Any whoosies. They said I did a pretty good job, and they very much appreciate the support that all of you have given them, and I think that's really sweet. I definitely want to try and maybe do another donation stream in the future, or the next time they're thinking of doing like a big collective one. The characters from Yakuza are so hot, I swear. Lol. It's Japan. They're used as advertisement. Ah. Wait, pocket tissues are advertisements? Damn. But yeah, thank you for the head pats, by the by. And my day was fairly alright. We got a new person in at work today. So yeah, and plus, just sore back and what have you. Like, I am now you know how there's that phrase? Like, oh, look at this guy waking up on the wrong side of the bed. I am very much just waking up on the wrong side of the bed every day now. Yeah, I'm not dead yet. Anyway, but it's official now. I'm out of the Zojima family. Yay! He's not Yakuza anymore. So Kazuma-san's in the clear, right? Nope, he is not. The family intends to hold him accountable until I can prove I was set up. What? Why? You're out of the organization now. I know. Still, this is a step forward. Now that I'm not Yakuza, cookie for Jason. I'm free to take action. I'll pay Kosei a visit and make him hand over the killer. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, first, we should go fill Kashiwagi-san in. Come on.
Yeah.
The organization. No. So, Yakuza, like, you listen about you listen about the Yakuza, the Mafia, the Triad, the Russian Mafia. It's one of those things where they're not mobsters, they're not gangsters. They're either a family or they're an organization. Like, it's only because of, like, films and shit like that where they're like, oh yeah, it looks kind of fun. But back in the day, like, they didn't want that kind of connotation. I know about Yakuza, but the Kingdom Hearts joke was right there. You are correct. Once again, I now have to reset the timer for the last day there was a Kingdom Hearts reference on stream now. Because there was a few times yesterday when I said, or not yesterday, but the day before, where I said simple and clean. And there was a moment after saying that a number of times where I'm just thinking in my head, when you walk away, you don't hear me say, please. Oh, baby, don't go simple and clean as the way that you used to feel. Like, but yeah, no, there isn't a proper timer, but I'm gonna be real with you, Renee Zach. I should probably make one in Steam, just exclamation point Kingdom Hearts. And then it will tell us like, oh, it has been this many days since we talked about Kingdom Hearts. Or made a Kingdom Hearts joke or reference. Oh, come on, don't be like that. It's fine. Come inside. Come! This is about me taking accountability, Nishiki. Let me do this right. Accountability for what, though? You didn't do anything. Fine. You're heading back to your apartment, then? I'll meet you there in a bit. You can fill me in on everything. Alright. Okay. See you later. Come inside. I should head home for tonight. From here, it'll be fastest to walk north through the hotel district. Alright, time to find some hooligans. I am all for just fucking around. Oh. Hey! You! Who the fuck is this weeb? There a problem? Yeah, you seem to think you can walk by me without a word. Do I... Oh, Jesus, he's fucking huge. Do I know you? This isn't your turf. Why should I have to tell you anything? I did not realize he was that big, okay? Look at the fucking... Look at the size of this dude. And then look at fucking Kirikou. Like, he's fucking... Nope. Slow zoom in. No, we didn't want to do that. Zoom out. Zoom out. Zoom out! There we go. I'm not here to chat. If you don't want to get hurt, you'll leave all the cash you've got and get lost. So this is a shakedown? You should pick your targets better. I don't have a single yen for chumps like you. Then I guess we'll do this the hard way. Hope you're insured. You're finally progressing through the MSQ. Mr. Shakedown. Oh my god, what is this? Oh, he is shaking me down. The fuck? Oh my god, he shook me down. You're finally progressing through the MSQ in Final Fantasy and you're at Ifrit's battle for the first time. Nice work. Oh my god, he shook me the fuck down. You're not half bad. I'll let you off the hook this time. What? If I'm having trouble with somebody like you, I need to change my training regime. Time to pump up the intensity. which is going to be expensive if I want to save up that kind of money. I've got some shaking down to do. Damn it. Get back here. Hey, you okay, man? Yeah. You just had the misfortune of meeting Hiroya Igashira. Mr. Shakedown, they call him. Mr. Shakedown? Yeah, he'll go after anybody that crosses his path, and then he takes everything they got. You seem like you can hold your own in a fight, but that guy's on a whole different level. If he sets his sight on you, you run for it. He's definitely more than your average tough guy could handle. Still, I wish somebody would come along and beat all that stolen money out of him, though. What did he get used to? Damn right he did. Took my whole holiday bonus. I knew I should have made a beeline to the bank with it. You be careful, too. Next time, you're sitting on a stack of cash. Oh, and rumor has it, Igashira's not the only Mr. Shakedown, and that they aren't just a Kamrucho thing. Stay sharp if you ever got out of town. Mr. Shakedown, huh? He was insanely tough. I probably haven't seen the last of him. Better keep my eyes peeled. If you lose to Mr. Shakedown, he'll take all the money you have. If you spot him in the street, the safest is to run away before he can rope you into a fight. You'll reclaim all the money he's stolen from you. The amount he's carrying varies at different times. If you can take him down when he's essentially flush with cash, you can take back more than what you've lost. I should just head home for tonight. No, we're finding Mr. Shakedown. I need to find this man. Also, hang on, is there... What's here? Miho Tono. Oh, wait. Intervene. You need to sleep. I'm sending me love. Thank you, Renee Zach. I hope you have a good, wonderful sleep. Alright, time to fight some goons. Six, seven. Yes. Oh my god, Yakuza 0, you love this game? Hi there, Estabamic. Welcome to the stream. He'll body slam you into debt. You don't understand. He shook me down. He took my money. I am going to get my money back. I need to find my money, okay? Also, if I really want to, I could just decide to save Scum right now and like I have gone through the Dark Souls route. I am going to get my money back. It's a sense of pride for poor Grant. There's money on the line, Code. I'm not gonna fight for pride. Fuck that nonsense. Oh shit, there's another fight. Get fucked, goons! Yeah! Fuck you, goons. I'm not gonna fight people for pride, okay? If there's going to be money on the line, which is every time I fight these guys, I am absolutely going to be doing it. He's took money. I am going to get money back. Now I just need to figure out where he went. Screw you, drunk. Oh, damn it. Hey, here we go. I honestly wish I could, like, just punch him and start the fight. Yes. You wish me luck? Thank you. Alright, he went that way? Alright, hang on. This way. There's more of you guys. Delinquents. Nice. Damn it, I got no weapons. No unread messages. Alright, let's have a look at what I can put into Rush.
Pull the lever.
No, do not pull the lever, Code!
Huh?
400,000. Alright, so I've got 9 million now. Intimidate. Increase the amount. Increase the power of regular. Alright. Okay, so I probably want to get... these techniques. So, immediately recover and perform an attack after being knocked on the ground. A charged punch attack that can be unleashed from a rush combo. So, multiple presses of X and then holding the Y. There we go. Catch an enemy off guard with a straight Alright, so right bumper, then a movement direction. That is a lot. I don't know how to do that. Weave away from the enemy during a rush combo. Press A during the X attack. Alright, that might actually be useful, because I feel like I might... If you need a cheese strat, let me know. Will do. I will find my own cheese. Intimidate the enemy to fill the heat gauge and frighten them. They only work against certain weaker foes. That's fine by me. Alright, let's go with this one. And then... Left trigger is to reset the camera. Rush is X. Finishing bow is Y. Wait, I don't think I can grab an enemy with Rush. Attacking a stunned thing. Trigger when health gauges. Frenzy. Knuckles. Embodies the opening moments of a... Your attack power is boosted until you take damage. Press X on the ground. And then this is him as his, like, brawler, which I haven't really put too much in. I probably should try and put more into the brawler, so then that way I have, like, other things I could do. Defeat 50 enemies. Oh my gosh, one more I need to defeat on the streets. Alrighty. Just you wait, we're gonna find this hooligan. There he fucking is. You're gonna give me my money back. Alrighty.
Bugger.
You're that guy from before, the one who picks fights with innocent passerbys. You heard about me. Take it easy. That makes it you heard about me. That makes it easier. I'm called Hirya Igashira, working on becoming the strongest living creature. Becoming what? Becoming the strongest living creature in the world just doesn't... Becoming the strongest man in the world just doesn't cut it. One day, I'm gonna stand at the apex of all organisms. That's awfully ambitious for someone who acts like a common thug. Why is the strongest living creature walking around town beating people up for money? Look, going to the gym or any of the regular stuff isn't enough for me. I need special training, and that costs money. How else am I supposed to pay for it? With money. Everyone in Japan came to spend money here in Kamurocho, so here I am, looking for easy pickings on the streets. Well, you'd better look elsewhere, because I don't feel like donating money to your cause. It's not a voluntary donation. I'm taking it by force. You won't have a single yen left when I'm done with you. Alright, so he's... Oh, Jesus! Oh. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. No! God damn it! That's another million I lost. So you get it now? Your money is my money. I'll make better use of it anyhow. This is peanuts. I need real money to get stronger. Looks like I have to keep doing this. No, hold on. Give me my money back. Damn it, he's real deal. I better stay out of his way when I'm carrying lots of cash on me. God fucking damn it. I need my money. Where is he? Tissues. Alright, let me just get something to eat real quick. I love that he looks like a buff milady guy. He is a buff milady and it annoys me. I thought he was gonna be a pushover and now he's just like unlocks like a second phase or I have no money! Oh shit, I have no money. He actually did take me for everything. For fuck's sake. Come on, fight me. Oh. Ow. Oh. I need to fight me, damn you. There we go. Now we got some money. We've defeated 50 enemies in the streets. Alright, more men in black. Here we go. Alright, that wasn't a lot of money, but we're now at least in the million mark. Alright, we're doing Brawler as well to, like, up the amount of, people I've defeated in the streets with, Brawler. And... oh, would you look at that? Who the fuck are you? Yikes!
Oi.
Hey, you alright? Eh? Figures I would bump into some swaggering punk. Oi, oi, oi! You an old man! This isn't gonna end well. Are you alright? No. What's the big idea, yo? I'm sorry? Watch where you step, shit for brains. You're not hurt or anything, are you? Asshole. Alright, if that's how you want to play this out. Nani? Eep! I'm so sorry, I mean, I'm in a rush, see? So please, get lost, you punk-ass so-and-so. I don't think this guy is going to be a really good punk. What just happened? Damned Yankee. Hi there, Iron Yoshi. It has been a moment. Welcome to the stream. I am trying to find, like, a giant-ass muscle... I'm trying to find a giant man who's decided to, like, steal my money. It was, like, millions of yen. So, it's at this point that I'm deciding... oh. Ladies. Alrighty. Oh, someone is being... intervene. Come on. Grant's but no. It's not pride. He stole my money. Let's see if I can get him into the bicycles. Oh, I got him into the wall. Nice. Yeah. Would it be funny if he tipped his fedora hat on every defeat? It would absolutely annoy me. I would be even more, like, you know, hell-bent on getting my monies back. Oh. What is going on here? What the? What's going on? This is a rough-looking crowd. Oi! I'm so fucking stoked, man! A rare street show by the Yokomichi Silvers. Too right? These guys are rock and roll gods. Look at this bitchin' crowd. They drew all these punks without any ads or nothing. Crazy Kyo and Kokomichi's Silver fucking rule. And keep your pants on, but I hear the Kokomichi Silver is gonna hold a Q&A panel too! No frickin' way! They're famous for never saying a word and letting their music do the talking. I wonder what the hell they're talking about. Sounds like some band's doing an event here. Must be popular with the local punks. Huh? Oh, I see. This fucking nerd is trying to join in with all these guys as they're talking about, like, all the different, like, cool bands and things. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Look at these guys. Holy cow, what are we gonna do? Hey, you. Yikes! Jeez whiz, pal! I nearly peed my... What are you doing here? Shuffling around behind me, you ugly knob. Yeah. Sorry. I thought I should apologize for bumping into you earlier. Oh, wait. Who? Oh, you're that man! No, I should be apologizing for my own carelessness. I mean, whatever. Piss off. Sure. Wait a second. Could you possibly be unaware of who I am?
Yeah.
Are you asking if we met before we bump into each other? If we did, I don't recognize you. Oh, wait a second then. So you really don't know who I am? Willikers! What a relief! Huh? I'm sorry, I was rude not to introduce myself. Name's Kyo, but my stage name is Crazy Kyo. I'm the vocalist in a band. Let me guess. The Kokomichi Silvers. The same band those young punks there are excited to see. Aren't you guys some kind of legendary Yankee band? Yes, that's us. We're doing a street show here later. Oh. Sorry to bug you before your show. Good luck. Whoa! Where the hell do you think you're going, old man? I mean, wait, please, sir, don't go. Maybe you could save me? Save you? Oh, and then you go, oh.
Nani?
Hi, Yoshi. Nani? Are you even hardcore in the slightest? Nope. As a joke, we tried dressing all punk at the show. To our shock, we got pretty popular with the Yankee crowd, but now we have to keep up the charade full time. Over time, we gained a fan base of wannabe punks, and the Kokomichi Silvers became heroes to the rebellious youth of Japan. That whole style is called Yankee now. There's more to running a band than I thought. So, what did you mean by me saving you? Actually, I want you to teach me how to be a hardcore hooligan.
Nani?
Teach you? To be a Yankee? Yes. You see, for today's event, we also have to do a live panel, a meet and greet for the fans. But every member of the Yokomichi Silvers, myself included, are law-abiding choir boys. We've never even shoplifted. If we were to talk in front of a real Yankee, they'd realize that we're phonies. Fake punks, eh? Now that you mention it, the way you talk doesn't match how you dress at all. Right. So if we spoke to our fans, we'd lose all our credibility and popularity in an instant. Or worse, what if they want revenge on us for fooling them? Okay, but do you have to do this panel thing? Why don't you just skip it? I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it either. But our agency says we need to hone our speaking skills if we want to stay popular. They're making us do it. We've been avoiding every situation where we might have to talk instead of just performing. But now, got it. So, you want me to teach you how to behave like a Yankee so you can talk like one. But why me? Why? Well, that would be because you're my ideal of what a hooligan should be. That confident demeanor, that razor-sharp glare, the barbed wire attitude that says, touch me and you get cut. And yet, you also exude a sense of kindness, a guy who extends a helping hand to the weak, the hooligans with a heart of gold. That's my ideal Yankee. Well, yeah, I am Yakuza. Kind of. You can teach us so we don't blow our cover. More than that, I think you can give us Yankee wisdom that will propel the Yokomichi Silvers to new heights of hooliganism. Please, if we lose this chance, the Yokomichi Silver may have to break up. Please tell me how to carry myself like a true Yankee. Okay then. I'm not sure how useful I can be, but I will try. Really? Thank you so much. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't catch your name. It's Kiryu. Okie dokie, Kiryu-san. Give me a second, please. I'll go get the others. Sorry to keep you waiting, Kiryu-san. Amazing. This is our drummer, Sleazy Tarashi. Hey there, I'm Tarashi. My stage name is Sleazy, but I have no experience with the ladies. Never even seen a boob. There's no hope for us. This man has never even seen a boob. No! And this is our bassist, Bad Boy Aku. I'm Aku. Hobbies caring for elders. And this is Kiryu-san, who's going to impart the ways of true Yankee-style hooliganism to us. Please teach us. You guys are so polite and proper. I'm starting to wonder if there's anything I can do for you. Oh, no, please don't say that. We're all pretty good guys at heart, so please, help us. In your case, pretty good guys is the problem, but I did agree to do this. So somehow, we have to turn you guys into hard-edged punks. Oh, yes, please! How can I show you guys how to be tougher, though? Well, maybe you could come up with an opening remark for little old me. Your opening remark? Yes, I want to kick off our panel with authority. Being hooligans, we shouldn't come across as weak or hesitant. Please, Kiryu-san, I need a zinger of an opening line to set the tone. Hello, but in English. How about opening with hello, but in English? English? Do you really think so? I mean, a hooligan speaking English in Yankee style?
Yeah.
I think it would be just right for a Yankee. Young rebels fall hard for what's cool, and English is the language of rock and roll. Hell yeah. Think about it. Their hero, the vocalist of the Yokomichi Silver, speaks a language they don't know. They can't help but be impressed by his wordliness. But do I have to keep speaking English afterwards? That's going to be a challenge. I only know a few greetings. The same goes for them, though. If you sound like you know what you're saying, you can get away with it. I see. I'm not quite convinced, but I'll give it my best. Rock and roll! Kiryu-san, question. What is it? Well, the agency told me to tell the fans how much I spend my days off when I'm not rehearsing or performing. Your days off, huh? Makes sense that fans would want to know how their heroes live from day to day. Tarashi, how would you spend a day off? Well, I make a habit of getting up bright and early so I can make some pancakes. After breakfast, I take my darling puppy Chibi-chan to the park for our mid-morning stroll. And then we have lunch at a chic cafe to rest our feet. On our way home, we do a little window shopping. After that, I binge on the dramas I've got on my VCR until it's bedtime. You just described a typical girl's day. Sorry, that really made you sound like a fashionable young woman. I was so surprised, I got intense. I'm so scared. Oh no, Kiryu-san, you shouldn't shout like that. You made Sleazy Tarashi cry. That's a bit much, don't you think? Oh dear. Should say sorry. Yeah, my bad, Tarashi. It's alright. I was just startled. I wasn't expecting it at all. So, how should I spend a day off? Yeah, right. One thing's clear. You can't tell the fans how you really spend your free time. No, I guess not. But then, what should I say? What would I be doing instead? Hanging with mates. On your days off, say you spend it having fun with friends. Having fun with my friends? That's kind of ordinary, isn't it? I mean, I already do that pretty regularly. Think about it. Punks are people too. On their days off, even they would want to spend it with their friends. Ever notice them squatting together in parking lots? That's true. I see them loitering around like you say, but are they really friends? Oh, I used the wrong word. They're not friends. It should be mates. Mates. Actually, when you put it that way, the Yankee factor goes way up. There, see? On your days off, you hang out with your mates. Actually, you and your mates just shoot the shit with each other. Say that and you'll be fine. I kinda get it. I'm not sure what that actually means, but hanging out with mates totally sounds like what hooligans would do. I absolutely love, like... It's like, this totally sounds like something that hooligans would do. Hooligans. Kiryu-san. You're bad boy Aku, right? What's the matter? What'll I say? Huh? You didn't get a topic like Tarashi? Nope. The agency told him to wing it. He's free to talk about whatever, even though he's practically mute. Bad boy Aku even has a backstory. Locked up in juvenile reformation from birth, bad boy Aku crushed packs of punks before he even finished preschool. Your agency's trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. Aku's a man of few words with a crazy backstory. What should he talk about to make him sound hardcore? Stay silent. Don't you think it'd be better to just stay quiet? Huh? Stay silent during the panel? Wouldn't a discussion without any talking be a disaster?
Yeah.
Nope. Aku was told he's free to talk about whatever he wants. That means he's also free not to talk at all. That's true, but it would be worse if he were to say the wrong things and wreck his image. From Aku's backstory, I think he would seem more hardcore if he kept his mouth shut. When you put it that way, it makes total sense. Okay, we'll do that. Bad boy Aku stays speechless during his part. Sure, Aku. Are you good with that? Okay. Alrighty. Now we'll go over how you'll run this whole panel discussion. Yes, please! Yokomichi Silvers, we're almost ready for you. Oh, is it time? I mean, fine. Ugh. Yikes! Sorry. I mean, you come when you're ready. I'll be watching from the audience. Yes, please. Watch us. We're going to hit this hardcore Yankee thing out of the park. We're gonna kick ass and stuff. There they are! Put your hands together for the Yokomichi Silvers. Woo! Check out Crazy Kyo-san's original ESP guitar, smoking rad style. That man's got the Yankee look nailed. Wow, they are popular. When they're not talking, they do look like real greasers. Soppin' wet rock and roll after school. Takari, Aku, hit it, boys! I thought there would be a karaoke session for us, but that concludes the days of performance by the Yokomichi Silvers. Just listening to their songs, I can see why Yankee kids across Japan look up to Crazy Kyo's band. Now, we would like to move on to a special meet and greet panel discussion with the band members. Whoa, no way! Crazy Kyo-san's actually gonna talk to us? That's totally mental! Can't fucking wait to hear Bad Boy Aku's voice. Here's where it gets real. They better pull this off. Yo, Greasehounds! Hello, everyone! Rock and roll! We are Yokomichi Silvers! Holy shit! Crazy Kyo can even speak English! So bitchin', I'm gonna go totally mental! Oh my god, that's totally authentic pronunciation! It drives me wild! I'm fine, thank you! And you? Yeah! Yes, the audience loves it. Using English was a good choice. Awesome. Thank you, Crazy Kyo-san. Next, we would like to hear from Sleazy Tarashi-san and Bad Boy Aku as well. First up, Sleazy Tarashi-san. Here's a question we got from a fan. How do you usually spend your days off? If I get a day off, I mostly hang out with my mates. We shoot the shit. A guy like Tarashi-san must have a ton of mates. Tarashi-san, what do you do with your mates? Huh? We make pancakes and stuff. Huh? Oh. But we don't just stay holed up at home. We go out and, eat lunch at fancy cafes and stuff. Yeah. Who is this guy? Fans are rattled. Damn, I screwed up. I should have covered more detail with Tarashi. Thank you, Sleazy Tarashi-san. To close it out, it's time for Bad Boy Aku-san to say a few words. That was it? No way. He just stood there for this whole panel discussion? That's... Holy crap! Bad Boy Aku's the coolest! What a rebel! He doesn't play by the rules, not even his own rules. That's what makes him Bad Boy Aku. He rules! Good. It was the right decision to not let the quiet Aku speak. After all, it doesn't take big talk to make a big man, and attitude speaks louder than words. Nice. Alright, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Also, what is the dude doing with the microphone? He's just like... this is... Kiryu-san, were you watching? Yeah, I saw everything. Good work. Kiryu-san, we tried to apply what we learned from you about the other ways of the Yankee to our panel. The fans' response was pretty darn good. I'm kind of shocked. Yeah, it seemed that way. It was worth all the effort. I think we can keep the Yokomichi Silvers gang going without sagging in popularity. Phew. Thank you very much. You got a charismatic autobiography. That was the most fun I ever had speaking in public. Kiryu-san, thanks. From now on, we're going to keep working hard to expand on what you taught us about the way of the Yankee. We'll work on our speaking skills too. Keep an eye on us, Kiryu-san. The Yokomichi Silvers are going places. Just you watch. Yeah, give it your best shot. We will. Nice. People sure have all kinds of challenges to face. At least those guys are diligent. They should survive the rough road of the entertainment world somehow. Don't give up, Yokomichi Silvers. Yay, we completed it. I imagine that's how half the VTubers are, where it's like, oh yeah, here is fucking isn't there an actual like Yakuza VTuber? I can't remember her name. It's like Niji-san or something like that. Like, I would 100% believe that despite, you know, being like that's their VTuber and such, they're just mild-mannered. Oh, there he is. There's the motherfucker. Give me my shit back. Hey, you. Damn it. Not the guy I want to see. Glad you're here. I need cash to make my dreams come true. I told you I'm not giving you money, but go ahead and try to take it by force. If you're able to. Also, hi there, Ripper. Welcome to the stream. Good to see we're on the same page. That was my plan. That was way too quick. He fucking nailed me in 2 hits. That is not fair. God damn it. So you get it now? Your money is my money. I'll make use of it. You got shaken down for 720,000. This is peanuts. Give me back my money. Fuck's sake. Oh, that's why I have like... God damn it. I should have eaten something. Before I fought him, I should have eaten something. Also, hi there, little Incineroar. Oh. God damn it. Now I need to find the shakedown guy. Alright, you guys. You're my problem now. Yes! Yeah! Yes! Alright, the brawler is not too great compared to Rush. I'm going to need to fix that. Alright, nothing in the children's park except the yen machine. Advertisement's gonna go in 5 minutes. I'm probably gonna go for a bathroom break in 5 minutes to go inside with the advertisement, because it's gonna be 3 minutes an advertisement per hour, and that would probably be the best time for you to catch a break, get a drink, maybe eat something, go to the bathroom. I'm gonna have to remember to go to the bathroom, and I'll do so in 4.5 minutes. Huh? Oh, here we go. More hooligans. Alrighty, I need to get some monies. Well, I got more money, but now I need to eat something. The Maharaja Kamu something or other. Welcome. We charge a toot. Discothiki. Okay, we're not going in. I'm sorry, but if you're not going to pay the fee, we can't invite you to enjoy the establishment. I can spend less than 2,000 yen to get food. The fuck is with that economy? Alright. Oh. Hang on a second. I've got... Toughness light is easy on the wallet, but doesn't restore a lot of health. Let's get you out of the way. Alrighty, time to intervene. We're gonna get ourselves more money. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Don't know what I would have done. You got a slightly battered gold plate. Nice. Oh, more of those guys. Yes. It's too strong. There was also some black coatmen here. Where did they go? There they are. That's the guy. Men in black. Let's go. Yes. You can travel to Kiryu's from here. Call it a day. We'll find the fucking shakedown artist like another time. We just need to remember he's got like 11 million yen and we're gonna need to get it back one day. Feels like I haven't been home in forever. Way too much has happened in the last couple of days. Oh, wrong way. That's why. Oh, because this is my home. Okay. 201. It's me, Kiryu. I'm coming in.
ビールしかねえぞ。
Oh, all I've got is beer.
分かってるって
Please. You think I'd expect any different?
錦
Nishiki. Did
誰から柏木さん
Kashiwa-san say anything
なんか言って
else?
たか。
I'm gonna go for a short bathroom break and refill my water. You should probably do the same, okay? Advertisement should be going off shortly, all right? I'll see you in a little bit. Bathroom break. Where's my... All right, this thing, empty. I need to refill it. Back. There we go. Alrighty. I am back sooner than I intended for the advertisement. Oh. You know what I could be making? Hang on a second. Actions. Add. Intro fighters. We'll put it in the default queue. And then there will be an OBS where we let's see, where is it? Set source visibility state. And on the main stage, we will toggle the intro fighters. There we go. And the reason for that will be when there's a Twitch ad message. Alrighty, core actions, run action, and it's going to be the intro fighters action. So the idea is that when an advertisement starts, the intro fighters will be available for everyone. And then actually I can just make it so that hang on. Delete that. Core I'll put the OBS like source set source visibility here, so then that way I can set it as visible. And then I set a delay for the value is in milliseconds. Oh my god. Alright, so I'm gonna need to do some math on the source. Core arguments. Where is the fucking math? Logic. Miscellaneous, network, quote, sound, system, timer. I guess I'm gonna have to do a timer. Oh, no, I can't. I can't tell it to be a specific amount of time. I need to somehow make it set argument. Okay, so if I do hide source, and the value will be actually, hang on a sec. Variable name, hide source, length will be add length, parentheses, times 1000. Hopefully that will work. And then core delay by percentile hide source length. Alrighty, let's try that one. So sources, set source visibility length, not the audio captures, but the... So intro fighters, and then... Ding, 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 donk. So, delete that sub action, duplicate that sub action, and make it hidden. Okay. Alrighty, so the next time, so if I run an advertisement for, let's say, 30 seconds, hang on a second, is there a way for me to test that in... Hold on a second. Maybe there's a way for me to test that functionality in StreamerBot without needing to, like, run the actual test. Hang on a second. Settings, accounts, sub counters, actions. Is there a way for me to test trigger? Test trigger. If you see for 60 seconds, and then... So if I go to my action queues, there is no pending actions from the looks of it. When was this activated? 7:02, and it completed inspect elements when queued. The ad length was 60. Cool. And then after it was run, the hide source length just became 60 times 1,000. That's not what I wanted. Auto type. Values can be a fixed value or parsed value using variables and or... Wait, I wonder, can I just do the math? The values and... Hang on a second. Times by 1,000. I'm going to try that one. So percentile add length... Oh, wait, hang on. Maybe they have the ad length in milliseconds. They must have it in milliseconds. Let me cook, chat, okay? Let me cook. Add run. So the Twitch trigger reference, we get two variables, ad length and as scheduled. This triggers when an ad starts to run. See the mid-roll trigger if you want the trigger to run 5 seconds prior to an ad. So, all right. How... Math. Inline math functions. You can evaluate mathematical equations directly in line with variable replacement. Oh. Maybe that's what they want me to do? Math duration. All right, so maybe that's what I need to do. So ding math, and then it's percentile add length times by, so rather than divide, it is times by. Hey there, Sir Dragon, how dare you steal my shirt? Alrighty, alright, let's give that one a try. Hopefully that will work. Alright, test trigger. Alright, so that's doing 180. No, don't look at my ass! Yeah. Terrible. How dare you? How dare you? Alright, so release after... Alright, so add length. So it did do the 180 seconds. When queued, I didn't give it any variables, however. And it basically got done like at the same time. That's not great. Because it needs to be, like, why is... You can now evaluate mathematical directly in line with variable replacement. So yeah, there's multiplication. Can I just not do it from within, what's Mufuzzi's? Inline functions. These are functions that are available in most fields within, so anywhere you can do a function as well. All functions will be parsed variables within the function call itself, so if you have, then x and y will be replaced with these appropriate values before evaluating. That should have been it. Like, delay math. Yeah, $ math, percent opening bracket, percentile add length, percentile, times by, like, why? Available functions, math and a math equation. Like, I should be able to... Streamer bot add length milliseconds. Or, not milliseconds, milliseconds. You can do maths with variables. Thanks. See how that goes. Anywhere you could do a variable, you can do the $. Yeah, like, that should be it. $ math, $. That should... And then add... Gosh darn it. Save. I wonder if it just can't do delay, or unless the inline functions are only available, like, last edited, 3rd of the 1st, inline functions. I wish it could tell me when they inputted inline functions. No, I'm up to date, so it can't be that. Harg. Test trigger. 150 sec. None of these advertisements are going off, by the by. It's just, I'm trying to see, like, why the action cue... Thank you, Sir Dragon. How is it going? How is your evening? Fine. I'm just gonna... Arguments, set argument. The will allow you to set the variable of an argument. These are... Alrighty, so... Add length milliseconds, and that's going to be $ math, opening bracket, percentile add length, percentile times by 1000 $. And then I'll set that, move that up there. And then we delay by percentile add length milliseconds. Alrighty. And then if I test the trigger, so that says 90 seconds. But yeah. Got to 33 today in Western Australia. Oh god, that's a bit hot. That is that's a little bit insane. Alrighty, so those things got reversed. Queues, pending actions. The Twitch message is pending. Inspecting elements. Add length 90 seconds. Alright, so it's doing the variable thing now. It's doing what I wanted, but it's not revealed. Wait, why is it? What happened to the... Why is the intro fighters not showing on the, That's weird. And then it should... I wonder why it didn't want to show up until... Like, what's Mufuzi's? Wait, hang on a second. So, intro fighters... For the mainstays, it's visible. And then... Hey! Don't be stealing my shirt, little Incineroar! This is important shit. And then it will disappear. So it was queued at 7:10. It's going to go off for 90 seconds. So it should finish at approximately 12. No, we are not skipping. Resume. I keep pressing A to skip it when that is not what I want to do. He started chowing down on his cold noodles like a man possessed after seeing you turn up alive. Up until then, he'd just been sitting there, all intense, not saying a thing. That's so him. Yeah, right? That's some story. Bet Kuze didn't think he'd be losing a pinky when he woke up this morning. Goes to show, you never know what the future holds. Yeah, and a lot more is about to go down if any of the 3 lieutenants get their hands on that empty lot. Kazuma-san's out of this family. I need to clear my own name, too. If the police get me in their sights, I'm done. About that. Kiryu, the president of Toko Credit turned up dead a few hours ago.
Nani?
What, Nani? It's on the news. He was shot in his office. He sent you into the empty lot on Kuze's orders, right? Kuze must have wanted to keep that fact quiet. Kuze. Is he really so Is it really so easy for him to just murder someone? It's his neck on the line here. That son of a bitch will do anything. So I think beating down his door and hoping he'll talk is probably a good way to wind up dead. There's got to be a better way. Such as... Sorry, if there were an easy fix, we wouldn't be here racking our brains. Also, hi, welcome back, Estebamek.
Huh? Tachibana Fudosan?
Lol, is that me? Is that who? The Savannah, or... I might be a little bit behind on what you might have noticed that you're like, lol, is that me? Sorry, hang on. Ding, I need to close some tabs so then that way it doesn't utilize... That way there isn't like too much of my PC's resources being utilized. Minimize this. Close that, close that. I can full screen this now. Came and found me after I left Dojima HQ. He wanted me to help him get the empty lot. Said he could help me prove my innocence, too. Whoa. Hold up. Kiryu. I do know those guys. What, now they're after the empty lot, too? What's their story? For starters, they're not the sort of business that's got an office. I've only heard bits here and there, but they're like property acquisition specialists, homing in on Kamurocho. Oh, you mean the, hang on a second, you're talking about, this thing, yeah. You've got a mace, so this is Intro Fighters. I've now updated my thingy-majiggy most recently, so then this little thing will pop up when an advertisement for mid-rolls goes off. That way, chat has something to look at, and it's something that they can influence if I need to go to the bathroom or anything like that. Or if I forget that, you know, we're in the middle of an advertisement and I'm still playing video games. They took over real estate? Yeah. Kamurocho's packed tight, end to end with little bars and night spots, right? And most of them are run by various Tojo clan families, too. But somehow, Tachibana Real Estate came along and started poking holes in that iron wall. How do you mean, exactly? Any business they set their sights on is shuttered in days. The tenants cleared out. Doesn't matter how successful the place was. They're gone. Bribes, threats, harassment. They're more Yakuza than the Yakuza. Whatever it takes to crush the business, then scoop up the vacant property. They'll even go toe-to-toe with a Tojo clan muscle protecting a place without batting an eye. Real estate right now is an insane cash war. That means plenty of shady business gets attracted. But Tachibana is playing on another level. Even Tojo H. Oh, damn it, I clicked it. So, seriously? Tells you how nasty they are. Although if you had them on your side, things suddenly get interesting. Yeah, if they could be trusted. I still can't figure what Tachibana hopes to gain from winning me over. Alright. Then tomorrow, you and me can dig around for more info on Tachibana. It's worth investigating. No. I'll look into it alone. What? You and I work together and we'll draw every eye in the Dojima family. I need you to keep your distance. Kiryu. It's fine. I was prepared to do this myself when I decided to leave the family. Maybe Nishiki's right, and I should accept Tachibana's offer. But I need more to go on before I can trust him. I should hit the town to see what I can find about him. Gather info. Noted. Oh, hey, there's cats. Oh, I can't get to the cats? That's bullshit. That was a waste of a thing. We could have been petting cats. So mad. Alrighty. Wow, he does not have a lot of energy. Only in Lost Judgment can you pet the cats? Oh. Ah, yes. Hi there, Furry Cures. Welcome to the stream. Obviously, you're still mad. Oh, more hooligans. Time to intervene and get more money from them. Yeah. And just Dora. Yeah. Helped 5 attack victims around town. And a gold plate. Nice. Alrighty. Oh, that's the zoom out. Okay. So... hang on. Batting Cage, Makbo, Vincent, Kamurocho, Shoten, Sega, the Heroin Karaoke Bar, Kandai. Gosh darn it. How do they expect me to go? Do I fall? Time to ask around town, see what I can dig up. How do I talk to people? Is that what they expect me to do? Nice. nice. Also, how's your evening going, Furry Cures? Is it going all right?
Yeah.
Oh, hello. Shut your hole, fat ass, and open your wallet. Whoa. What?
Huh?
I'm telling you, I can't pay. I'm dead broke right now. Don't give me that bullshit, Tubbs. I watched your sorry ass come out of that soapland last night. What? Yeah. Then you marched your little buddies around the club from club to club, drinking till dawn. Living pretty large for a broke guy, ain't ya? You were spying on me? You're goddamn right. You know how many different blenders you've dicked over, pork chop? It's collection day. Also, nice work on the 19%. And your ass is getting beat. Female collection agent. Pretty unusual. Sounds like a real ball buster, too. She's terrifying as ever. Botchus. What, she's a friend of yours? You got that right. Sure, we wouldn't make an enemy of her, but that's Miss Tatsu, the debt collector. She's a legend in Yokohama. Miss Tatsu, huh? She takes on the jobs that make other collection boys running away crying, and she always gets the cash. Her style's bold, blunt, and brutal. Add that to a bulldog's own tenacity, and you get one mean bite, my boy. You seem awfully familiar with her methods. Is the voice of personal experience? You got me, boy. I was this close to getting my face caved in over a silly little debt a while ago. Why am I not surprised? Hey, look over there, boy. We're about to see what makes our lady Miss Tatsu so incredible. You think you can get the money out of me? I'd like to see you try. Ha! You boys and your tiny toys. You think your little butter knife is gonna stop me? Drop the tough act, sugar tits. I've got a dozen dudes in the hospital with this baby. If you have a tear-stained apology ready for me, though, I'll hear you out. That's my line, sugar moobs. Except the part about hearing you out, since you'll be too dead. Now make your move. Pulling a weapon on a woman? That's going too far. I'm stopping this. No need, boy. Just wait. Huh? Nani? No blinking now, boy. Keep those eyes on Miss Tatsu and showtime. I'll fucking kill you. Alright, let's see how she does. Oh, yes. Oh, that is so good. You got a feisty one. Oh! She just broke his fucking arms and tossed him. That's rad. Alright, so that's more like a bear and shit. And you can grab stuff as well. Yeah. Whoa. Those moves. Looks like that beatdown gave you a few ideas. Yeah, more than a few.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic, boy. Hope you're ready to put them into practice. What? Over here, yonder. Looks like our bad guy here's got some friends. Aw, shit. Jin-kun's getting beat to hell. He paid the tab last night, so what say we pay him back by sucker punching this crazy bitch for him? Hear that, boy? Those dim bulbs are planning on getting the drop on the little lady from behind. Sounds that way. Lovely crowd. They're a perfect match for the sort of scum that'd pull a knife on a woman. Why don't you give them a little demo of what a man's supposed to be? And no saying this doesn't involve you this time. I won't. She can clearly defend herself, but there's a whole pack of them. I'm jumping in. Yeah, that's my boy. Keeping chivalry alive and working in a fine bit of training in the process. Hi there, Thorin. Welcome to the stream. How's it going? I have a new franchise to binge. Yakuza 0. The hell do you want? You guys planning to sucker punch that woman in the back? Me wants hug spots, said I can have hugs. You can, yeah, exclamation point hug. You got an eavesdropping problem? And damn straight we are. You think I want that psycho bitch to see me coming? We'll drop her before she can get those claws out. I don't care how tough she is. You won't hit a woman, and needing a group to do so is just pathetic. You call yourselves men? The fuck you say? You got a big mouth and a death wish, pal. Yo, we're dropping this guy before we take care of the broad. Goons. Time to beat up some goons. Alrighty, switching to beast style. Press when near a large weapon showing a thingy to automatically pick it up and swing it. This is called an auto weapon attack. Bash an enemy with an auto weapon. Nice. When using beast style, hold tilt guard lets you withstand enemy attacks with the resist guard. You will take a certain amount of damage, but you are protected against attacks coming from any direction. Bolstering your defense by equipping gear in the pause menu further reduces the damage you take with the resist guard. Be sure to equip any guard you have. Use beast style to pulverize the back of the towers. Oh, nice. Yeah. Yakuza happens to be one of your favorite series. That's cool. I know it's a lot of favorites, so because it's gone on for quite a bit. I asked a while ago, like, where should I start? Because there's like release order, but then there's chronological order. Everyone said to do chronological order. What's with it? What is this guy? All of us beating on him, and it's like he doesn't even feel it. You want more? I'm not leaving till I at least punch that uppity bitch out. Well, well, if it isn't Porky's little friends. I saw you boys crawl in the bar last night. But I must be hearing things, because it sounded like you said something about punching a bitch out. If you're interested, this bitch is ready to go. No, ma'am, that's crazy. What kind of man would punch a lady? And with a group? So pathetic. Right. Now pick up that sad sack lying over there and get the hell out of my sight. I got what I came for. Got no use for him now. Yes, ma'am. Botches, been a while.
Yeah.
Same old Miss Tatsu. Strong as a bear on bearoids. You're one to talk, old man. Esteban Milk, thank you for the follow. I greatly appreciate it. I normally keep my schedule like properly set for the next time you'll find me streaming and what have you. You'll also find it on my Twitter, like normally within the day when I'm streaming. You're one to talk, old man. So, gonna introduce me to my knight in shining armor here?
What?
Oh, right. This here's my latest friend. A real diamond in the rough. Name's Kiryu. Kiryu, huh? I'll remember the name. If you got botches singing your praises, you've got to be pretty tough.
Yes.
He is. This boy's here is a future champion. I'd stake my career on it. Ah, okay. Now I'm seeing what this is. You're thinking Kiryu here is your ticket to a fat stack of cash, which you'll then use to pay me back so we can get to stay friends. Easy, Tiger. I told you it's been a while, but you'll get it all back. Oh, and speaking of favors, why don't you train the boy here? Wait, what? Do I seem like the patient teacher type to you? Sorry, no can do.
No.
Nah, now don't be like that. We both need him to get stronger. Once he's a champ, we'll be rolling in dough. Besides, I know you're secretly the Doten type. We'll make champion a hell of a lot faster with you beating him into shape. That means you get paid sooner. See? Win, win, win.
Oi.
Botchus, what do you think you're doing here, man? Yeah, negotiating an apprenticeship with Miss Tatsu for you. Obviously, trust me. You train under her, you'll be master of the ring in no time flat. You're insane. I'm in seriously hot water right now. I don't have time to humor your little fantasies. What? You're in hot water too, boy? Are we talking knife in the ribs here? Because I warned you about that. I'll be lucky if that's all I get. And seriously, what's this obsession with me getting stabbed about? Alright, knuckleheads, that's enough. Neither of you's making a damn bit of sense. But I hear where you're coming from, Botchus. Ditch the championship talk and just say you care about this Kiryu kid. If you're worried about him, own it. Look, you did me a solid a minute ago. I can do this. Besides, the old man is right, that my training will make a real man out of you. Hop a cab to the pier sometime. I've got a training space there. You train at the pier? You got it. Kinda live there, too. Pay me a visit sometime. See for yourself. I think you'll like the digs. Anyway, that was my last job in the city, so I'm heading back to base. Kiryu? You, me, pier, training. I'll be waiting. Botchus, I've already got a future plan. I'm sorry, but I can't be your champion. What sport are we even talking about? Boxing? Not that it matters, I can't. Oh, I know that. Doesn't mean I'll stop trying. But I know when to stop making a nuisance of myself. I'll give you some space, champ. It's about time for my afternoon drink anyway. Helps clear my head. Good luck with that. Just don't have too many. You think a guy named Botchus can't hold his wine? Ha! You see you around, boy. Keep those ribs nice free now. Get out of here, and thanks. I'll be careful. Didn't expect to get wrapped up in that mess, but at least I didn't come away empty-handed. Now, back to looking for leads on Tachibana's real estate. Alrighty. How the fuck am I supposed to solve the real estate thing? Alrighty, let's see how the bear does in this sort of... Nice. The minute I picked up a bicycle, it was over for them. Pocket tissues. Still don't know what they're for. And can't use that here. Increase the power of your regular attacks and heat actions when using beast style. Charging forward while keeping your guard up, you won't be staggered by attacks below a certain power level. Alright, let's pay for that one. You're gonna pass out. Hope you have a fun match. Not to worry. Thank you so much, Estabal Milk. Hopefully I'll say your name correctly. Take a low stance and charge forward, hurling yourself. Ooh, so that one's 2 million. I'll go for that one. There we go. Oi, leave her alone. Oh, nice. The traffic cone was able to be used. Nice. And I got myself almost 200,000 yen. And I got myself a platinum plate. Nice. Nothing down there. Whoa. Where am I supposed to go for information? Alrighty, delinquents. Hi there, Hawaiian Pizza. Welcome to the stream. We're playing more Yakuza 0. I'm beating up delinquents, hoodlums, and Yakuza. Apparently, I'm supposed to be getting information about a real estate agent, but I cannot, for the life of me, find it. Also, hello. Can I get shit from you? No, I cannot. What's the long line for? What's this line for? Could be something serious. I should ask around. Alright. Can't wait. I snuck off from work for this. If my manager finds out before I get back, I am so dead. No cutting in line, pal. You have to play by the rules and get in the back like everyone else.
Oi.
Hey, kid. Huh? Yeah? What's going on here? Why are all these people here? Did you want one too? I'm really sorry, but they said I'll get the last one in stock. What are you talking about? Huh? Aren't you lining up for RQ3? RQ3? Is this some kind of secret code? Nah, it's RQ3, the newest game in the Arukuri series. RQ3, short for Arakura 3, Quest for the Quantum Quill. I can't wait to read the instruction manual on the way home. Oh my god, remember instruction manuals in video games? Remember how we had those and it actually explained how, like, video game mechanics worked? Like, oh, you press these buttons, you can do these combos, this person is a good guy, this person is a bad guy. We no longer have those. Probably for the better, because it means that tutorials are actually now indoctrinated into the game, rather than it being a case of, oh, you know how to play this game because you read the instruction manual. Never heard of it. So, people are actually lining up to buy a game? What an amazing world we live in. Yeah, it's the most popular game in Japan right now. I went looking for it with Grandpa, but they were sold out everywhere. But then my friend told me this place was getting a new batch today, so I grabbed my allowance and ran all the way here. Made it just in time and got the last reservation ticket. I'm so happy. It's gonna be the best game ever made. Times are strange if it's that hard to buy a toy. Oh, you don't even know the half of it, Kiryu. Like, this is gonna shock him, but in like 2020, 2021... it's going to be, like, difficult to even buy... Cookie for Bookie. It's going to be difficult to buy a video game. This man here is like, oh, it's going to be difficult to buy a video... Man, to think it would be so difficult to buy a video game. It's difficult to buy a video game console now. How's it going, Bookie? Sorry to bug you, kid. Thanks for the info. Yep. Bye, mister. So glad I lined up first in the morning. I'm going to be the first to get it. Nice. Let's get you. Yep. Thanks, mister. Yep. Okay, they're all saying the same thing, and they're all waiting at this store here, it seems. You're just drinking a cold one. Boys. Welcome to Don Kyoi. Of course. Alright, so we got Saitama Light. Toughness. The legendary drinker of Rikyu. Turmeric and other natural ingredients make it a supplement effective against hangovers. Sure. Alrighty, and then a rubber frame. It's used for the pocket car cars. Lowers the chance of running off the track, but also slows you down on corners. Makes hill climbs easy. Oh, okay, comfy shoes. You have to try these inner soles yourself to understand how comfy they are. Thank you for the zebra roll. We got bindings, an essential ingredient for anyone looking to do cooking. The gentleman's umbrella. Lumber. Pocket tissues for when you're on the go. Champagne. Carlsberg. Malt. Hey, Mountain Dew. 7-Up. Oolong tea. Oolong tea. Rich flavor and light aftertaste. Nice, 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 nice. Please come again. No, I didn't want to talk to him. Alright, you went bowling today. What did I worked today. Today's Monday. I had to work. Uh-oh. Kid's in trouble. Game over, kid. Hey, you're the kid who was lined up for that game. Did you manage to get it? Oh, mister. What's the matter? My brand new video game. That guy stole it. Alright, so we're gonna get his game back. He spent all morning waiting in line for it, and now he doesn't have his allowance. You're going to bed? Not to worry, Sky. Thank you for coming along. Thank you for coming to the stream. I hope you have a good sleep. Lord knows I will need a good sleep when I go to bed tonight, because it is a terrible bed and I need a new one. Thank you, mister. I run off towards Pink Street with Akio's thingy. Alright. Hooligans? No hooligans. Later, freak. No fair. I've been defeated. Oh, are we seriously chasing after, like, one guy to the next right now? We're seriously, like, gonna... Also, come on. Faster.
Yeah.
I don't need all this. We're trying to get a game. Alright, never mind. We're gonna be fighting the menacing man while we're in the tight corners while I'm playing as the fucking bear. Yes! Got him. Get fucked, high schooler. Alright, he doesn't... Yep, the busted dagger of stealing and making me give it to him. Gang member, you know that guy who was just there? Yep. Is probably going into somebody who's not even a fan. Don't worry. Alrighty. Went off towards Taihei Boulevard East. Alrighty. Excuse me. Oh my god, he gets exhausted really quickly. Loser. Oh my goodness, we're just going through a round robin of like different levels of like hooligan to low level Yakuza. We're probably gonna get to high level Yakuza at this point.
Yeah.
Come on. Come on, 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 come on. Alrighty, I gotta deal with someone with a knife. Street thugs. I absolutely love this like fighting system. Looks like you got dumped, Mister. Nani? Nani? Just let me get to the next bit, please. I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm just pressing this button repeatedly just so I can get through this dialogue. This is not important dialogue. This is just... There we go. Alright, cool. Moving on. Whoa. Alright, more hooligans. Yet we are going to intervene and break up this fucking fight. They have made a mistake. Yeah! Right in the head. There we go. Got myself a platinum plate. I did not hear what he said. I have been so distracted. Alrighty, moving on. Are these businessmen gonna fight me? No, they're not gonna fight me. That's a shame. Oi, vending machine dude. Yo level Yakuza. That game you got there. Give it to me. You're gonna give it to me. It's important that I have it. Does he have a fucking gun? Yes! A total of 20 million yen, and I lost 10 of it. Give it back. Give it back? That wasn't yours. Fella, I'm begging you, please. My little boy's really been looking forward to playing it, your son. My old lady left me and took the boy with her. He's been wanting ever since he read about it. Oh my god, please don't tell me. I didn't stick up no kid. I took it off a worthless goon. That's right. You got the kid from a punk, but that kid belonged to the little kid. Long story short, you took from a wannabe punk who took it from a high schooler bully who took it from the last boy in line who thought it was his in the first place. My thinking about it, but alright, so that's what happened. And I came to get it back from the little kid. It's gonna go back to the rightful owner. I'm sorry. Fella, I'm the fool here. Give it back to that kid for me. I was about to make someone else's kid cry for the sake of my own. What kind of monster? I thought I could make my boy happy with something I stole from someone else. I was wrong. How am I supposed to be a good dad to my boy? To Akio like this? I guess you'd better think about that. Wait, what? Akio? Oh, hi, mister. Perfect timing, Akio. I just got your REQ3 back. Really? Yippee! Huh? Akko? It's you! My Akko! Oh. Hi, Papa.
Nani?
Nani? Nani? God, I love Kiryu's Nani. He's just like, Nani? You guys are related? That's right. Are you friends with Papa? Yeah, you might say that, sure. That little kid you were telling me about, that Aria, was that what Akio bought with his own money? And I tried to... That seems to be how this is shaking out. But why, Akio? Why didn't you say anything to your papa? All you had to do was ask. I could have given you the money to buy Aria Q anytime. Mama always gets mad at you, Papa, for spending money on golfing and go-karts and board games, and I didn't want Mama to get mad at you even more for spending all your money again. Papa, so I tried to buy it for myself. Papa looks kind of scary, but he's a really, really nice man once you get to know him. He fucking pulled a gun on me. There's nothing nice about a man who pulls a gun on you. Took me to a bunch of video game stores just the other day. He's not living with Mom and me now. I think he's lonely, so please stay friends with him. Actually, your Papa helped me get your RQ3. Really? Thank you, Papa. Yay, cool. Mission's done. Come on. We now need to find the real estate, like, thingy-majiggy. Sunburst. How the fuck did I get that?
Oh.
Sub-stories. That was the second sub-story out of the, like, the whole line? Jesus. Alright, equipment. Weapon. This katana glows with a light as bright as the sun rising at dawn. Holy shit, wearing these doesn't help things make charismatic audio. Ah, okay, so put that there. That one gives me 1 defense and no blade. That one gives me 1 defense and 2 firearm. And then that's gear, which I can't really use anywhere else. And then there's sub-stories. So many sub-stories. Battles. Defeat 50 opponents on the street, defeat 150 on the street, defeat 5 in Brawler, defeat 100 in Brawler, defeat 50 in Rush, 100 in Rush, 50 in Beast, help 5, help 15, win 10 Coliseums, defeat 5 things, defeat 1 Nove rich enemy, defeat Mr. Shakedown 1 time, Sega, earn money, use heat, use different heats in action, break 50 objects, acquire 10 weapons, 10 gear, defeat 10 enemies using weapons. Business. Collect a total of proceeds. Talk to people. Dine at eateries. Complete Gingatsuyo. Ringer. Juji. Order everything on the menu. Damn, okay. Complete side stories. Befriend people. Get the highest score in Friday night on easy, on normal, and hard. Holy shit, there is so much to do. Notebook. Nope. Adventure, dashing, first person's perspective, dream machines, avoiding fights, telephone cards, taxis, Bob. You can receive items from shrines and temples. Talk to Bob, who has a unique fashion style. Friendship with time. Dunmark, sub-stories, avoiding fights. You can walk by holding down as you move. Walking makes it less likely that someone looking for a fight will single you out. Take advantage of this if you'd rather not get into a brawl, such as when health is low or when you're rushing to get your destination. You can also avoid people looking for a fight by passing behind them. Taking on Kuze. Try holding down to keep the enemies in sight and control the distance between you. Even the most powerful cannot guard against attacks from behind. Hold down, then move towards the side from where you. Press A to circle while evading. Uses attacks that counter your A, so circle around after he begins his attack. Firearms. While guarding, hold a large weapon. Press A to evade shots. Blades. Enemy obstructions. Fighting enemies. X and Y. B is to break through a defense's guard. Battling foes. Taking on. Alrighty. Cool. Hi there, Jin. No, you don't smell titties. So, I need to try and find information. I need to, like, apparently talk to people on the street about the real estate agency or something. But they don't really do a good job explaining this to me. Hello?
Refuse to elaborate. Because I don't know what I just said.
You're on a new PC? Nice! Is it a powerful PC? What's it like? Can I go into there? No, I cannot go into... Oh, wait, can I get in from here? Yep, I can get in from here. Alright, ordering food. Cookie for furry cures. Alright, so I've eaten that. I'm gonna eat this next. Can I eat more food? Alright, so I ate the large bowl. Now we eat the extra large bowl. We've got Aka Ushimisu. Alrighty then. 4060 Ti and a 5700X. Nice! I used to have a 5700... Oh no, I didn't have the 5700X. I had a different AMD I think it was like 4700 or something, but now I'm on the 4950, I think. I'm on a bit of a powerful CPU, but I'm pretty sure the CPU you have was what I was previously on before, you know, multitasking with streaming and what have you. Who am I meant to talk to? There we go.
邪魔だ。
Okay, I'm gonna need to swap to like a rush dial. Oh, are you kidding me? I'm getting my aunt. Oh my god. This is annoying. Cookie for... Oh, Cookie's gone for Jason. Okay, this is bullshit. I'm stun locked right now. How was I supposed to get out of that? I put myself into a corner and I got fucked over. How? There we go. Oh no! What have I put myself into? Temporary switch to... No, we're not doing that. Oh my god, that was painful. That was terrible. How? I am going to need to put some money into something. I got $5,000. Alright, beast. Give me more health, please. Alright, what's... Allow you to perform a resist guard when an enemy attack during a rush combo. Increases the power of your regular attacks and heat. Yep, let's activate that. And then, what's this? Reduces the amount of heat loss when you take damage from an enemy attack. Decreases the rate. Increases the thingy. Performing a resist guard when the heat gauge is at third to stay still even when hit by knife or gunfight. Boost the power of your attacks when in heat mode. Increase Increases on all thingamadoogies. Alright, so I can't do mastery thingamadoogies. That costs 30,000. That costs 2,000. There we go. 9 million into there. Brawler, we've not put too much into yet. It's asking for 2 million, 2 million. 100, 100. 2 million. So I got 30,000. So I'm going to need to put 2 million in there when I have a chance. Alrighty. Will these guys talk? No, they will not. Nope. Alright, more men in black. There we go.
何なんだ。
There we go. Let's try this. Because I want to get good with the bear, which seems to be like. God damn it! Hi there, Minty Fresh Nookie. Good morning. I'm playing Yakuza 0, and I am terrible with the beast form. So this is beast form, and I'm trying to get like better with it against like. There we go. Oh. Beast's biggest downside is how damn slow it is. Alright, cool. So it is never going to get faster, is what I'm hearing. It is always going to be slow. Brilliant. Alrighty. Who can I... Like, hang on. Do I fall in with start time to ask around town, see what I can dig up? Sounds like a fight out in front of Mockball. Wait, Mockball? Where the fuck is Mockball? A bowling alley. Okay. So... down and to the right. Okay, so... this way and across. Hello?
Oi!
You still haven't found the president of the Tachibani's real estate? Our boss ain't a patient man, and we've been keeping him waiting for long. Where are these guys? I'm sorry, sir, but the guy's a shadow. Doesn't leave a trace. The informants in town can tell you anything except when it has to do with the Tachibana real estate. Wait, none of them? Then what? Tachiban's bought them all? Huh? I'm saying he's paid them all enough to keep quiet. If he's really the kind of guy they say he is, it's possible. Shit. Wonder if there's any way to outspend them. Hi there, Leon. Welcome to the stream.
Huh?
You're back? Not to worry. Go hit one of the businesses he's brought out or something. Alrighty. So, alright, so there's the high-tech land, but we're going for the bowling alley. Cookie for Jason! The CPU does hang around the highers or normals. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I just wish I could, like, counter them, like, once I am doing the blocks and all that kind of such. Because it's like, once I'm here, it's like I'm stuck. I'm stunned. There we go. I get so much more bonus using anything else other than the bear. It's not that great. Also, I need to get more food. Alright, this is a convenience store, but that's okay. Just worry too much as I was stressing it bad, and when demanding things on games is around 80 degrees or higher, which worries me, but at least it's not bad. Wait, Jin, are you in Australia or in, United States or somewhere? Because it could be a high temperature just because of the region you're in, and you just need to have, like, cooler temperatures in the ambient. You're in the UK? Normally, tech in Australia runs a bit hotter than normal, just because you're in, like, a warmer climate and such, so you have to sort of pay a little premium on either getting air conditioning running inside your room a little bit more often than you would, or you invest in much stronger sort of fans or water cooling. Here it's cold. I know I shouldn't worry. 70 to 80 degrees is probably not the end of the world. I would recommend if it's a recently built PC or you've done like some part swaps, you could like clean out the inside, clean off whatever heatsink you've put on, or like whatever thermal paste you've put on the heatsink and put on like a better one, because there are better ones out there. It's like Thermal Bear or something like that. It's advertised by Gamer Nexus. Sometimes they advertise about thermal paste they use. Alrighty, I am going to get bucket tissues, bait. Onoskira is out of this world. I'm gonna get a sushi set. And then charges up heat. When you need a little health boost. Alrighty. American taste food. Nice. Brand new pre-build. I'm too afraid to touch the components. Ah, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Alright, yep, so bowling alley is down this way. Oh, more Men in Black. Alright, let's... The fish fighting style. Is that what this kind of style of fighting is called? Fish fighting style? Racers wanted. Who the fuck is shouting for pocket racers? Okay. My phone said fish. Oh. I definitely mainly use Rush and Brawler and Swap to Beast when I know I can use it well. Fair enough. I really do not care about the pocket racers. I want to go through the main story, please. If it's not the end of the world, then for now, I'll not worry and just replace the cooler in a month or two, since the company I bought it from replaces the components for me. If they're willing to do such a thing, I would recommend talking to them about the temperatures. Because if they're going to do component swaps and such like that, they probably will understand, like, what reasons you'd want to do component swaps. And, you know, if you're worried about your PC running a little bit higher than you're comfortable with, then maybe they can explain. Jesus Christ, this guy is way too committed to the mini thing. He's decked out like a Christmas tree. Slot cars. So he's a pocket. Damn it, I can't skip this. It's a neat little side game. Oh my god, what? Look at the eyes some of these characters give is way too much. Alrighty. Yeah. Alright. Golem Tiger. Slick wheels. A power motor. And a balanced frame. Regular gears. And a regular battery. Red blaze. Alrighty. It's a lot of part swapping and obtaining to see what wins your races. Okay, so triangle for boost, B for stabilize, and then fast forward is by just using the thingamajiggies. Okay. Ready? Go! Alright, simple are placed in lanes, and the one to finish lap first wins. Yep, cool. You gotta give your horizontal press now to use a boost. Well, not at the corner. No. Say it only works when you have energy in the top gauge. Goal! Alrighty. Let's do this. So I can tell you a few things from experience. Okay. You got to know Pocket Circuit Fighter. Interacting with him will gradually fill the friendship. You can check this gauge status at any time in the completion, build your friendship, and see what happens. Noted. They're selling... Maybe I'll check it out. Shop for parts. Alright, so you can get low-profile wheels. They hug the track, don't bounce much, making them perfect for tracks with jumps. Arigato. Slim tires allow you to reach greater speeds. Its high revolution count allows for a high top speed, balance between RPM and torque. Outer frame drops less on corners, but you need to take care not to run off the track. I'm just gonna buy everything. There we go. Alrighty. Hi there, Icy. The boost can absolutely screw you over in some races and fling your car off. I imagine it would. Alrighty. Do I just talk to this guy to do another race? Customize the car. So this is Golem Tiger. And then we can change the tires from slicks. So this is good for circuits with bumps, but we don't have a lot of bumps, so we're gonna go with the slim tires. Without slowing it down, increases corners at the cost of stability. Regular batteries. Alrighty. Those parts are cheap now, but they get expensive. Wait, you mean, like, how expensive are we talking? But how expensive are we talking? They get into the millions? What the fuck? Jumps and zigzags, sloped curves and jumps. Alrighty, let's give this one a try. Yep, so this is what we had first. Tiger! Alrighty, so Y is to boost, B is for stability. Can I not use boost more than what? Why can't I use the boost? I used the boost once and it's like... I only got like one boost? Is that it? I set a new record. Nice. Alright, cool. He absolutely sweeps all the kids that are racing. Noted. We got new parts. Win more races to get your hand on new street parts for your slot car. Okay. Is this when it starts getting expensive? Hang on a second. Oh my god damn it. Why is it a long walk around to get the parts? Like, you only get one boost. I used it at, like, basically that straightaway was like, let me just... Boom. Alright, so there's new parts. So we can get the balanced frame, the spiked wheels, the speed... We've already got the speed motor. Rough slope appearance suggests they are just as capable when driving on grass. Realize a chance of running off, which we've already got. Wait, no. What? Is it saying we don't... Wait, do we not... Oh no, these are like regular... So some of these are regular plus and such. Oh yeah, a lot of them are like pluses. There we go. Easy. Oh, what's this? Chika Aramura, Type A. Noted. I have no clue what these cards are for. No, don't go back in there. Alright, so... Okay, the bowling is down this way. that a food? Oh no, I can't get into the food mart. They said there was like a commotion. See what I can. Where is this business they dove about? Oh god damn it! I have not been doing too great. Oh, did I watch Scott Pilgrim? No, I have not. I have not watched the Scott Pilgrim remake, okay? I am busy. I have a job. I have so much to do, and then I go in to do this. So much happening. Also, I'm nearly dead. I'm gonna need to eat some sushi. There we go. Alright, am I supposed to, like, go into the bowling alley or something and shake down the business there? No.
Icy is cute, Uwu.
Icy is not... Actually, yeah, Icy is cute. Come on. There we go. Yeah, I was about to say that, and it would have been a grave mistake. Play solo. That'll be 500 yen. Hopefully this is gonna lead me somewhere. At least I've got 3 frames. We're not gonna go for the full 10. I just need to do a little bit. Alright. Entertain yourself 10 times. Position the ball. So adjusting the spin is like that. Setting direction and power beats to cancel. Select with thumb and then, or the up and down. When selecting the ball, you can choose where to stand with left and right and then press A to confirm. I swear I'm better than this.
Yakuza.
Sit. Alrighty. Oh no, that's too powerful of a spin! Damn it! Or at least I got 1 in instead of, like, nothing. Ah, that's not too good. I'm trying to like go into the corner or what have you, but that's obviously not working, so I'm just gonna go straight. Yeah!
いい調子だ。
That's what we want. Two, one. Alrighty, that's a little bit okay. I probably could have done a little more spin. Ah, I could have. Oh well. That's okay. That's not the worst. I could have just done, like, no hits at all. Your bowling form is exquisite. Wow, she is absolutely lying to me.
Don't make me send you to Jesus myself.
Blue is a cutie. Blue Foxy Icy is a fucking cutie, okay? Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Observe as I demonstrate to you Blue Foxy Icy's cuteness.
Have your baby back.
Hey, that's a new Peach. That's a new Peach outfit. Or Daisy. Is it Daisy or is it Peach? Also, this thing is like phrasing and such.
And because this is a fun speed run, I'm gonna steal.
Am I pausing? No, I'm not pausing. All right. Note to self: the sidekick is going shit.
Hi.
Check the status, build your, and see what happens.
No one saw that. No one saw that at all.
I didn't see it because the replay was terrible. Alrighty. So I'm supposed to find a business or something? Alrighty. Alrighty, now I'm facing off against goons.
後悔する。
Wah! Always kick before collecting the star. Ah, okay. I wonder, is this guy gonna help me out? Okay, it's just more pocket tissues. Not helpful. Where am I supposed to fucking go?
が気に入らねえんだよ。なんなんだ。
So I defeated someone named Sega, it seems. Huh. Inventory, more sushi, please. What are they hoping for me to do? Time to see what I can... Where's this business they drove out? What business? What are they talking about? Alright. This is me, just like... Oh, it's more of these delinquents. Alright, here we go. There we go. So it's not that. Alright, more delinquents. Alright, how can I improve my rush ability? 30 million, 100 million, 2 million, reduces the heat over time, 30 million, 30 million, 30 million. Okay, so I can't improve those in any way. This one I cannot yet improve until I'm more at like 2 million. Hopefully this is something I can do. Where's the producer? If he doesn't show up for the location shoot today, we're screwed! Well, he had the huge argument with the director at the last shot, remember? He's probably still butthurt. Yeah, our director is something else. He won't budge an inch, even when it means button heads with the producer. I heard a lot of the crew can't deal with him either. Maybe it'll be a strike. Well, whatever the reason, if we try to shoot on location without the producer, the director is going to really boil over. Maybe we can find someone who can stand in for him. Oh, sure, someone who can stay calm and cool while talking all the crap our director dishes out. We need a guy with an aura of toughness, a guy who can command respect just by being in the room. I guess guys like that aren't exactly a dime a dozen. Yeah, you're right. Not like a guy can do all that is just gonna waltz down the street at us. Au contraire for... Huh? No, zoom in on there he is. Kiryu-san! That bold demeanor, that aura of unassailable thingamadiggy. That's our man, the poster child. Yeah, cool. Skipping all this. Doing television. Nani. Can see your aura is so bright, it's dazzling. No, seriously, we'll do all the heavy lifting, helping out in the TV show. Fine, I'll help them out. And then that's our cameraman. Delighted to meet you. What are the... It's supposed to be here, but someone came up with the last you can't make it, so we need to stand in for him. No worries. Not to worry. Pass. Look at this drip. Look at this drip.
Oi.
Guys, do producers seriously dress like this? I imagine a little more snarkier now in today's age, but basically that. Basically that attire.
Hey.
What am I supposed to do? Well, our director is on the way, and all we need you to do is deal with him and keep up with his demands. He can be kind of a diva, and he says some weird stuff, but try not to let him off and set him off, and you'll be fine. Nice. Oh. Act natural. Noted. Ciao, lovelies. Good morning. Mori-chan. Guten Morgen, baby. Ah, Gluten Morgen to you. Don't ever change, Mori-chan. I'm counting on you today. Bling bling ka-ching, baby. Hey, Blue. 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 You need to get into my Discord. You need to voice some of these lines. This is honestly ridiculous. I need your mannerisms. I need your energy for, you know, that sarcasm that you have. Just that you're done with the day. Customer service has gone on for 7 hours. You're at your last half hour and someone decides to ask questions on how you do your thing and thinking, oh, if it doesn't scan, it's free. I need you in the Discord. Ding. Hang on a second. Bam. A bone. A ding. And then I can just stream it. Please. Please. Well, that was just rude. Here I am begging for my moderator, the amazing Blue Foxy Nicey Icy. I'll tell the customer to feck off and put their head in an ice. That kind of energy. Get in the Discord. I am asking as a friend, but I am demanding as a streamer. Please. I will keep begging until you, like, just flat out say no. Boy, lol, what about me? I don't get paid, and you don't get paid, okay? This is just for the experience. All right? You're not getting paid for this. I will gift you a sub. How about that? I'll gift you 1 sub. Let's see if the 1 sub will do it. Keep an eye. That's how it works. Don't you dare. Don't I dare what? You don't think I will? You don't think I will just like go into shout out to Blue Foxy Nicey Icy as I go over into his channel while he is not in the middle of streaming and gift him a sub as payment for doing the voice of the director in the Yakuza 0 game.
Bonk.
What do you mean? Hi. Welcome back, Hawaiian Pizza. Watch this shit. You ready for this? You ready for this? I'm gonna gift a sub. This story has some things that made me laugh quite a bit. Bribery. It's not bribery. Watch this nonsense. I'll do it. I'll fucking do it. It's right here. Bam. You know, if we gifted multiple subs to Blue Foxy Nicey Icy, he will have a hype train while he is offline. There you go. You got a gift sub. It was gifted to Zevin. How? This is reverse blackmail. It is. It's not blackmail. It's bribery, as Avalon has said. Congratulations, Zevin. You now have a sub to Blue Foxy Nicey Icy. Because Blue... And I've gifted 70 subs in the... I can do it again. I can do it again, Blue. Actually, I'll use my Prime sub. I'll use my Prime sub to subscribe to Blue and see what happens. And I get a 16-month sub anniversary. Come on, get in the Discord. Come on, come on. Get it. Ah. No, do not pull the lever, Avalon. Ita-san called in sick this morning. Hi there, Blue.
Oh my god, you fucker.
How's it going? Just, oh, he's in pain. Oh no. You have friends that want to gift you things.
Listen, that's my job.
That's your job, is it? It's really your job?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, alrighty then. Folks, this is Blue Foxy and Icy Icy.
Hello, chat. I will hold your hand.
Excellent. Alrighty. Kiryu-san here will be standing in for him today. Your turn.
You? Never heard of him. He the real deal, baby.
Yes, of course. Kiryu-san does a lot of work on location overseas. This is his first domestic shoot in a while. That's probably why you don't recognize him.
Very well then. C'est la vie.
C'est la vie.
I don't care who you are. When you're on location with me, everyone has to pull their weight. Capiche?
You think the Steam is... Hang on a second. Is my volume for like the... Hang on. Say a few things.
Oh, your stream's buffering like hell.
Oh, God. God damn it. Why can't I do fun things in the... Oh, actually, hang on a second. I think I know why it might be. Hang on a second. Share your screen. Stream quality. I'm gonna give you the 720p experience.
Furry Cures 1221 paid me to say Grant. Might wanna check stream.
Oh, Jesus Christ, there's someone raiding. Hi, Trumpet Collins! Welcome to the stream! How you doing? I am currently going through Yakuza 0, joining in the voice chat because I gifted them a sub and bullied them with love and compassion, is Blue Foxy and Icy Icy. Say hi.
Hello.
Hi. So yeah, Trumpet Collins was like one of the peeps that I met in Furdu in the Twitch panel. They have come.
Oh, that panel when we all just watched each other's clips and then started debating about the treatment of other streamers on stream.
It was I remember the clip slideshow. It was a discussion about PNG tubers. And there was like a third thing. Oh, Streamlabs, because there was like that whole thing where some people thought it was like a lo-fi OBS that was endorsed by OBS, but it was like, nope, that's not true at all.
I'm straight up just using OBS. I haven't touched what is it? Streamlabs at all. I told someone to get off it too.
Yeah, nah. So Streamlabs is just not fun to use because it's like, it's really toned down and it's a fork of OBS where you can't use plugins and things. It's just a waste. Nutty on YouTube/Twitch is just like, get off slobs. Go into OBS normally. But yeah. Trumpet Collins, no one knew me until I like started like pulling my weight. You got a 17-second delay. I recommend refreshing the browser because there might have just been buffering then.
Or you do what I do, just go to advanced after clicking the gearbox on your stream. Just turn off low latency and turn it back on again.
That works?
Yeah, because it forces to refresh the entire stream to where you should be at.
Ah, okay, that's cool. Oh, God damn it, little Incineroar. Alrighty then. Hopefully, I'm just having skip frames due to encoding. Okay, it's not doing any more skips. It's not dropping anything from the network. Okay, should be good now. Still delayed. Oh my gosh. Kiryu-san, this is our director, Papalo Kato-san. Did I even say that name correctly? Papillon Kato.
It's Papillon.
Papillon. I'm Kiryu. Good to meet you. Hang on, I can do a bet. I need to invoke like Raymond Holt kind of energies. I will not. I will not. Dismissed. I'm Kiryu. Good to meet you.
He's stiff as a stiff. You dragged this guy out of the river, boys?
I guess what they say is true. People in the television business do seem to be pretty shallow. This guy's irritating, but I better play along so he doesn't get suspicious.
There a problem to you? If you can't return a simple greeting, your history in this biz will look bad.
Figures. Proper greeting is important in every walk of life. What should I do? Get goofy. When in Rome, I guess. I have to do this right.
Hey.
Hey, Papa-chan! Let's get this shoot rolling so we can wrap before my next meeting. Chop chop, yeah? Aw. Aw.
I love it. I didn't expect that from you, Kiryu-chan. But I dig it. Today's gonna be a... Bida bing, bida bing.
Bada bing, bada
Bing,
big. Do you not know how to read bada bing, bada boom?
Well, you did call me at a time when I'm just trying to vibe in, you know.
Fair enough, and then I absolutely ruined that. I guess that went well. Do be
Well,
aware,
what
you could also just call me out and be like, hey, I need a dumb American.
Oi.
So, anyway, where's that babbling bit of window dressing? She's on deck for our dining report.
Window dressing? Is that TV jargon? Yes, about that. Our reporter, Nagasawa-san, is running a bit late.
Eh? Then why the fuck are we here? It was your job to lock down the talent. You did that, didn't you? Fuck.
Sorry, I forgot to get her the schedule in time. She's on her way right now.
You incompetent imbecile. If we go over on time, we'll be screwing over the restaurant. You're a nice guy, Mori, but this shit doesn't cut the mustard.
I'm sorry. Sorry. This director. What a change from that cheesy goofball a few seconds ago. Guy's got one short fuse. Oh! Here she comes! Sorry. I'm sorry I'm late.
No problemo, baby doll. We were patient as pie. Ooh la la, don't you look ravishing today?
Great flirting.
Go suck a lemon.
Oh, wow. Oh, Kato-san, don't be silly.
Okay, gang, let's get this party started.
S'il vous plaît?
Yeah, s'il vous plaît.
S'il vous plaît.
S'il vous plaît.
What? He just randomly drops foreign languages. He's just like, s'il vous plaît, ciao ciao.
Fantastico! To your marks, everyone, let's roll it.
Oi.
Wonder, what the hell is this? Where's the erasable?
Oh, sorry. We'll get it. Sorry, Kiryu-san. Can you grab the erasable from the table there and bring it over? Erasable? I can check what's on the table. That's a start. Sure. Hold on. It's been a while since I've been in the stream, but been so busy organizing my long holiday for December as well as getting the ring. Oh, you did a proposal. God damn. You'll be proofing soon as the girlfriend needs to pick up from work, but I'll get back on to watch afterwards. Not to worry, Trumpet Collins. Good luck with the ring. There are some pretty random things on this table. All right, so what's the erasure? There's like a literal eraser.
Well, what do you think when you hear the word erasable?
Erasable.
To be fair, the second one counts as erasing something in a different manner.
A knife. Erasable must have something to do with the props. Ooh. I'm gonna go with the eraser. The eraser has to be this.
Oi.
Hey, I brought the erasable. Thanks, Kiryu-san. Can you set it on the table? Got it. Huh? Kiryu-san, that's an eraser. Yeah, it's an eraser. Isn't that what you need to erase something? Well, yes, it can erase, sure. I burned through them back in school. I rolled up the residue and flicked them like snot, too. But that's an eraser, not an erasable. Was I wrong? Completely! How are you supposed to film with this? In showbiz, an erasable is a prop that's eaten or consumed. When you eat food, it's erased from the set. Get it? That they could have explained it a little bit better.
Oi. Amateurs. I'm surrounded by amateurs. Get it together.
Sorry. Damn, I held up the chute. Wow, that looks delicious. There's so much, but it looks so tasty. I could eat it all in one sitting. Good. The shooting's going along smoothly.
Pardon me, Kiryu-chan, but we have to still like that erasable later. So would you be a doll and grocer it for me?
Sure. Grocer, the erasable. Cookie for Trumpet Collins before they go away and do their thingamajiggies.
Both of these nuts.
Grocer, the erasable. Tilt the food at an angle? Like, so it's like it's presented like at a grocery store?
Oi.
Hey, I grocered it. Brilliant! Thank you, Kiryu. Oh wait, that's you. So sorry.
Brilliant! Thank you, Kiryu-chan. Let's take a look.
I'm realizing this is dumb.
Magnifique! The erasable is angled like a grocer's display. When you grocer a prop, it means to tilt it at an angle, like how a grocer displays produce on the shelf. It's easier to film still life that way, but you knew that, of course.
Thank goodness. Yeah. I managed to get it right. Thank you for a wonderful meal. It was delicious. The shoot's almost done. Sorry, Kiryu-san, can I get you to jeer these props? It's about time to strike the set. What does jeer these props and strike the set mean? I'm gonna...
Sounds like you should beat up the actual props, you know?
I'm sorry, what? Say that again?
You know, turn-based combat, the props. Well, I'm not saying that's the correct answer.
It's
I
definitely...
mean, I would actually just beat them up.
I'm just gonna remove them. I got this.
I like the idea of punching the dishes.
Thank you, Kiryu-san. I'm sure glad you knew that jeering means putting the props away when you strike the set. It was obvious. This way we can clear out as soon as the filming's done. That's smart thinking, Kiryu-san. You're looking ahead to whatever needs doing. All hail the world's greatest producer! Yeah, right. No, seriously, you're really helping us out. Looks like I got that right. Might want to reset stream. Well, I'm like 3 minutes away. I might end stream. Although there is going to be a 3-minute advertisement, so... Whoops. Thank you, Oh, wait, this is you.
Mori? No, you're Mori.
Oh, thank you.
That's a wrap. Let's blow this popsicle stand.
The shoot's over, I guess. Kaboom. Yes, Rico. Kaboom.
Man, everyone's having inner monologues but me.
Man. Kiryu-sama, you saved us. You know showbiz lingo like a pro. No problem. I had fun with it. That was something else. It's rare to see a grocer who can take charge on location like you. Please accept our thanks. You got a magnetic necklace. Oh, speaking of while there's an advertisement going off. Speaking of other people are like having like voices in their head. Some people have like, you know, visual like things in their head and such, but other people might have like, you know, as if spoken lines from a book or something like that in their head instead. Did you know? I've stunned him. I have stunned him with my amazing himbo intellect.
I just think of things being on the stack and see if they resolve or not.
Spoken like a blue. Wait, blue's not even your most common color in MTG, I feel. Is it?
It's actually not. It's green.
Yes!
Yeah, but the problem is, no one likes me playing green because I'm too strong playing green.
That's what the fetch is for, to be strong.
No, it's not even that. It's just that, oh, look at me. Green does everything, which is kind of dumb.
You're not wrong. Green is doing a lot. It used to be a case of green was reliant on other creatures to do things, or was removing art, or can do artifact and enchantment removal. It was one of those weird, like, you know, oh, if you didn't have any creatures, you can get rid of some of like the evergreen stuff besides creatures, but now there's a lot more cases for, sure, beast within that nonsense. It's so it can even be applied to creatures and what have you.
I think the biggest issue with green now is that it's using too much of everything. Like, it actually takes a bit from every color and takes it into itself. Now we have green spells that can counter, but they can only counter non-creature sources.
That's dumb. Like, I was fine with a green... Like, I was fine with, like, every other card having a... You can counter only a blue spell. That was funny. That shit was like, basically a... We know it's out of flavor, but we know you hate blue enough to do it.
Oh, if you hate blue enough, you just play Boil, destroy all islands.
Okay, that's pretty incredible. But yeah, because, like, green does a whole lot of stuff, and it doesn't help that after all this, it's like... White, I feel like, doesn't have an identity anymore, other than, like, banding together, but there's much more cards that, or colors that do the whole tribal thing better than white, isn't that right?
No. White still has an identity. They just hate everything.
Really?
Yeah, I'm being serious. White can destroy pretty much any permanent. And they're based on token swarming, like... I reckon the most common white creatures are humans.
I would agree with you. Yep, I think I would agree with you. There is no counter on that. I just agree with you. It's just like this is a man who speaks of white and humans. Yes, makes sense.
Oi!
What's going on here? Oh my god, why does he look like an actual... Is he supposed to be someone popular from Japan? You know how there's, like, you know, normally, like, they throw you... Like how Matt Damon popped up on Hey Arnold, and it was like, it looked very much like Matt Damon instead of trying to make him just look like an aardvark. It feels like that. Also, hi there, Furry Cures. Professor Ida! Did the shoot go down without a real crew? The producer.
What the devil? Why would you even bother showing up?
Ha! You need it on a teleprompter? We're here to beat some manners into you. This is for working us like slaves, late into the night. Who the hell do you think you are? We got into broadcasting because we love television. But thanks to you, we don't have time to go home and watch TV. That's no way to live.
What can I say? It takes blood, sweat, and tears to make a TV show. Fortified, gentlemen.
Big talk as always, director. Who made you so important that you can treat the producer like this? I've had it with you. That's why we boycotted the shoot today. We are on strike.
Boycotted? More like, let your personal drama get in the way of work. You call yourself professionals?
Yap all you want. This is the last time we'll ever see you. So let's end this shit show on a happy note. For us. Oh my gosh, what will we do? I got this. Okay, I just saw myself, like, go even further with that one.
Furicures 1221 paid me to say Grant.
This is you.
This delay is gonna bother me.
That's right now a bit of a... That's a bit of a you thing right now, Furicures. There's not much I can do outside of, you know, doing the restart of the stream, and it's like 9 p.m. We're basically done after this fight. Who the hell are you? The name's Kiryu, and I'm the producer here. I can't have people harassing my crew.
Kiryu-chan?
Wait, you're my replacement? You just doubled my fun. I'll show you how irreplaceable I truly am. Come on, boys. We'll deal with this faker first. Menacing man.
He doesn't look menacing, he looks like a freaking knockoff of you.
Yep. Ooh. Oh god, alright.
If only real street fights look like this.
If only. Yes! Cookie for Trumpet Collins. Oh dear, Goto, you are absolutely fucked.
Don't make me send you to Jesus myself.
You can't send me to Jesus, Furicures. There is no man alive who will send me to Jesus.
I will send you to Jesus.
And besides, Blue was right here. Did that guy pull off a bodybuilding show? Forget this. Look at them running coordinated. Kiryu-san, are you alright?
Yeah. Thanks a million, Kiryu-chan.
It's the least an amateur like me can do.
So, you were faking it after all, Kiryu-chan.
You knew?
I'm no fool. I knew something was off the moment we met. You were a fish out of water from hello.
Hello. Couldn't fool a pro after all. But if you knew, why didn't you get rid of me right away?
Because, Kiryu-chan, you did the best you could with such a passion, despite not knowing a damn thing. TV is not a gentle mistress. A single minute, or even seconds of footage can take dozens to hundreds of hours of hard work. The struggle is, as we say, real. The challenge demands an incredible level of precision, experience, and skill. But there's something even more important than those. And that, mon ami, is passion.
Passion.
I believe TV gives viewers hopes and dreams. There are people out there who can be inspired by TV to change their jobs or even their way of life. I think TV is a medium that has the power to change people's lives for the better.
You might be right about that.
Most deaf. That's why we make programs with passion. no matter how hellish the process may feel. As creators, we are the dream weavers. It's our duty to pass those dreams on to others.
You're quite a director, you know that?
Pish posh. I'm just an overbearing loser who can't even hang on to a solid crew. I want to bring the same passion I have in my work out in them, but I can never seem to get through to them.
Yeah. Director Kato, what you just said, that moved me to my core. We have a lot of growing up to do. I want to do more. I want to make better programs. I want to create shows that bring people's joy and inspiration. I want to challenge our passion into the art of film. So please, we want you to keep on us like you do.
You guys.
Sounds like you got through to them, don't you think? They get your old-fashioned sense of passion.
Kiryu-chan, thanks, honestly. You truly are a great producer.
So you won't stop giving us hopes and dreams, right?
Au contraire, mon frère. We'll show you dreams you yet have ever seen in your mind's eye. Okay, boys. Production meeting. Let's drill down the plan for some better shows. From the top.
What? We just rapped! Have mercy! Huh? Oh my god, there's boy band posters in the background. What the heck does from the top mean? Excellent.
You don't want to know that.
Just jumping from the top of buildings. Yay! Woo! That got done. Alright, hang on a second. I need to find a phone booth and just say enough's enough. Okay, phone booth is back that way. And I'm probably going to end the stream here. Hang on a second. I need to do multiple things at once. Where is my iTunes? Oh, no. God damn it. I do not care for this. Can I? Nope, this can't be skipped. I do not want to talk to this person. Just let me get to the booth and save. Come on. Nope. There we go. Save the game. New save. There we go. And then bing. Hit that play button and head back into the chat and say that is it for tonight. I understand that there was like a bit of a delay and what have you, but I do not have any solutions for that, and I wasn't gonna restart the stream when it was like so close to my stream being done. Blue, thank you for joining in and lending your voice for the auspicious director and his funky French.
Oh, don't worry. I'll give you some more sass later.
You'll give me sass, is that it? I will hold you to it. I will hold...
Because right now, you're the straightest thing in this room.
I was hoping that was a bit. But yeah, the next time I will be streaming will be Wednesday night. We're going to be going through more of Yakuza 0. Hopefully the main storyline is going to be like a little bit easier to get through than what we recently went through with them just having me run around town and ending up in side stories. Blue, when's the next time people might find you streaming?
What day is it today? Oh, it's a Monday.
Today's Monday.
You'll actually see me tomorrow.
Ooh, tomorrow. What are you going to be doing tomorrow?
I need to get back to Paper Mario on the Nintendo 64.
Ah, yes. A classic, Paper Mario from 2004?
It's earlier than that.
Okay, I was about to pull a 1999, pretending it was like an aged wine of like, oh yes, Nintendo's Paper Mario vintage of 1998.
You know how expensive that game is? It's like probably close to 300 just to get the bloody cartridge.
Oh my god. N64 Paper Mario. $29 from Etsy.
Those are usually just people making just the cartridge but not the files.
Oh.
Just display covers.
Radio, that makes sense. Alright, if I go to eBay, NTC or NTSCJ is $19. $60 with the box. NTSC B grade for $394. What the fuck?
Just letting you know, because I play PAL, that it costs even more.
Oh my god, PAL. N64 PAL Australia, $1,300. What the fuck? Why is Nintendo so... There wasn't even that many Nintendo games released, wasn't there? There was only like, what, 50 or something?
Oh no, there was a lot released. It's just the problem is Australia's very backwater in terms of market.
Hang on, how many Nintendo 64 games were released? A total of 388 Nintendo 64 games were released. 85 were exclusively sold in Japan. Jesus. And apparently the SNES got 1,755 games. That sounds ridiculous.
That's what I get for having retro gaming as a hobby.
Retro gaming as a hobby. Well, the good news is if you ever are like, you know, just having a personality shift or you need to do a disappearing act real fast, you're gonna be able to just be like, right, this shit is getting sold, and no one would bat an eye if you're just selling them at like $1,000 a pop for quick cash. But again, that would need to be a personality shift on your side at the very least.
Exactly.
So yeah. Oh my god, Trumpet Collins has the original box and cartridge for his Nintendo Endo Paper Mario. Wait,
I reckon he could probably get it 1,000 minimum. It also depends on the condition.
Be so fine, then boom.
fair enough.
Morning.
Wait, Trumpet Collins, are you a retro gamer on your streams, or are you just whatever is fitting your fancy? Because I know Blue's whole thing is like playing the retro games. It's like I'm probably not gonna catch him playing anything newer than an Xbox 360 on his streams. Am I right?
To be fair, people know me more as the Mario Party streamer.
That is okay. That is true. Oh, you know how a while ago you said you thought I was a Final Fantasy 14 streamer?
You pretty much just stream it every week anyway.
I stream it every week, and I was like, oh, I can't possibly be like that big of a Final Fantasy streamer. I looked at my stats for what's the thing that I've like done the most recordings for and such, and it's like not even close. Final Fantasy 14 is like 348 hours on my stream. The next closest thing was when I binged Kingdom Hearts 1.5 plus 2.5 remix for 112 hours.
But just keep in mind that you're not playing one Kingdom Hearts in that game. You're playing multiple Kingdom Hearts.
It was multiple Kingdom Hearts then, and it was a case of basically, because it was one Chain of Memories, a quick watch of the 358 days over 2, and then getting into Kingdom Hearts 2, and then another video or 2, so yeah. So it was like 2 games basically. Hey, god damn it, Virtual Robo Man. Alright, enough dicking around. I need to have a look at who is online and who is streaming. Blue, is there anyone you recommend?
I would say David, but they've been going for like almost 6 hours.
Okay.
Let's see, who else?
Wait, David's the rat boy, right?
Yeah, rat boy.
I'm gonna be real. You know, it took me a minute. I was just like, wait, what? Then he's like right there. Hi there, Chase. Guess what? You're pregnant. That's my guess. 60% of the time, I'm right. Should have kept streaming? Maybe. Okay, so he's being a bit of a he's being a strategist. Yeah, I think we'll go raid into Aussie Griff, aka David.
AKA Rat Boy.
AKA Rat Boy, AKA the better half of the of Mega.
Oh, wow.
I know those are fighting words. I will most likely die for them. The better half of the Aussie. Oh, I can't think of a. They don't have a couple's name, do they? It's not like
No,
they're not Mega Aussie or anything like that.
Nah, but you can do something in reference to googly eyes because there is a redeemable googly eyes on pretty much anything on the stream.
Nice, clever. That's cool. Alrighty then. Alrighty, we'll go and raid into Aussie Griff shortly. Keep an eye on that googly eyes redeem that Blue has mentioned. Otherwise, I want to say thank you everyone who came along to tonight's stream. I greatly appreciate it. Blue, thank you for joining in on the Discord. I am very thankful for you like coming on in even after I've like bullied you and bribed you to get in here. I hope you're doing okay, and I wish you the best in tomorrow night's stream. And I'll see everyone else next time. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.
I gotta copy your raid message because yours is actually a good one. Dink, donk, ding, shit. I tried borrowing your googly eyes. Oh wait, I am subscribed to you. I just forgot, so... There we are. I forgot I subscribed to you just then, so it's like, makes